We landed at the airport and went straight for the designer outlet. It was midweek, it was midday, so we expected that there's not going to be any crowds, but the parking lot was so full we had to drive for more than a couple of times in circles to actually find a free parking space. But once we came inside, the stores were practically empty. So what's going on? Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So as you probably know, Venice has one of the major designer outlets really nearby, is in Noventa di Piave. It's about 20 to 30 minutes drive from central Venice. You have shuttles from there, you have buses as well, and taxi drives and whatnot. So it's very easy to reach, and also if you're landing at Venice airport or at Treviso airport, it's again like half an hour drive. So if you're in that area, it's worth to kind of go and check it out. And this is exactly what we did. Now, it started kind of weird. If you don't know, Noventa di Piave is a designer outlet that has Gucci, Versace, Bottega Veneta, Fendi, Prada. I mean, there are like all the fashion designer labels, especially Italian ones, can be found there. I was surprised that they have Bottega Veneta because I don't think many of others have this particular store, but we're gonna go store by store and I will tell you exactly if it's worth your visit in the summer of 2025. And there are a few surprises on the way of what actually happened in some of the stores. Designer boutiques usually have like a very fine velvet rope, which prevents you of entering before you can be allotted a special sales associate. And this is kind of a given in most of the boutiques. Even if it's empty, there will be like a rope in front of the entrance and you will wait there and someone will come and greet you and take you inside. Now, I'm not used to ropes in outlets as much because if you see rope in an outlet, that actually means the store is full, and sometimes they would have like a digital queue, sometimes there would be like a physical queue, but it would be a sign of there is a queue. I have never seen a rope in outlets in designer boutiques where there wasn't any crowd, let's say, inside, and that actually happened at Bottega Veneta, but I'm gonna come to that later. I want to start with Gucci. There were actually more salespeople in there than customers. They did have some of the, let's say, classics. I could find these Mormon bags, and they have quite a good selection of SLGs. So I think most of them were like between 20 and 30% discount, and occasionally they would have like another top discount on that, but on this particular day they didn't. They just had like the usual discounted prices. Clothing, on the other hand, I was not really impressed. This dress was cute. This is how it usually goes in these outlets. You would have either seasonal stock, which is not obviously this season when you're buying, so we'll have summer stock in the winter and winter stock in the summer, or you would have like last season pieces, what's left over, different sizes, and then you would have, of course, especially made just for the outlet. Now, I didn't ask in any of the stores if this is outlet made or not, because even though by law they have to tell you, they have to reveal that, I don't trust them. I don't trust that answer, so I wanted to do my own research. And for Gucci, I'm pretty sure most of the things were actually from the boutiques. There were some SLGs that I couldn't place anywhere, that I couldn't see them in a boutique or I couldn't find them online, but that's not necessarily proof that it's made for outlets. So Gucci, I would say more or less boutique, and some of the items might be made for the outlet. Next was this top, which I think it's cute, and this one was really insanely discounted. It was definitely 70% off. It doesn't exactly say designer item. To me, this looks like you could buy it in any high street boutique, which doesn't mean that it's bad. It's still a very cute top, but you can get this for so much less, so I don't really understand why you would buy this even at discounted, but still at a premium price. So with clothing, I was a bit disappointed. There was really not much in there that I would like. As for the salespeople, they were a bit snooty, but not like in a rude way. It was just kind of like, you could tell they're like bored. So for that was a bit sad, but it is outlet, so I don't expect the same service as you would get in an official Gucci or any other designer brand boutique. Versace is the best store to be this summer because they actually have a promotion going on, and I think this is gonna go throughout the summer. I don't know how long. This was like towards the end of July, and I'm putting this video out a few days after we were actually there, so hopefully these discounts will still be applicable if you go there soon. So what they had was that all of the things had additional 30 off on top of discounted prices, which is a deal that is just unbelievable. And they had some of the really cute shoes and some of the bags that I like. I mean, some of them were definitely not like classic Versace items, but you could find something, I'm sure. And for this discount, it's definitely worth the visit if it's just for Versace alone. I like this dress. It was cute. I found it online in blue and in nude, I think. I didn't find it in pink. So again, I don't know if this is like outlet only or not, but this dress is definitely from the boutique in other colors. This is one of the things that I noticed in another store, that they would have the same things they have in boutique, but they would have different colors or different color combinations. So unless you're like really into luxury and you know all the items in the boutiques, it's not obvious that it's from outlet, because I know some people don't really like to say they buy it in an outlet. So this is still a win-win situation. You get a designer item for a lesser price and it's not obvious that is outlet. I have some notes down here on my iPad. This is why I'm gonna look down occasionally, because there's a lot of things to cover in this video. So even though it's really not a normal thing to expect any classic items in an outlet, that usually never happens, but you would have items that are more easily associated with certain brands that you can actually find in an outlet. Like for Versace, for example, if you find something with a Medusa head, that's definitely Versace. So it doesn't matter if it's not like their classic style. But the thing that I noticed, especially here, was that all of their, let's say, more premium items, like this leather combination, I really like this jacket and skirt combo, and this screams Versace. This was really not at such a good price. It was, I think it was discounted like 30%, and then when you add additional 30, yes, it comes down quite a lot. But the beginning, most of the things were discounted more. And the people who were actually in there was like a couple in there who were buying men's underwear. So that was what I saw in Versace. But the sales people there were just amazing. There was this one guy who was so sweet. He really tried to find something that I would like. He would walk with me and say like, oh, what do you think about this? This is actually a very good discount because it's already 50 off and then you get another 30 off. And it didn't feel like pushy, or it didn't feel like he's checking me or something. It really genuinely felt like he wanted to help me find something that I would like, and I really appreciated it. Sadly, I didn't find anything that I would buy eventually, but you know, that doesn't mean that I'm not gonna buy something next time. I'm gonna be back there in like a month time when I go to Venice Film Festival, so maybe they will have something that I like more that time. Now we are going to Jimmy Choo. Now Jimmy Choo was and wasn't a disappointment, because in a way, things they had in there, I really didn't like any of the shoes, and the bags were mostly their most expensive tier. So even discounted, they were still in my head not worth it, because while I don't mind paying thousands for a bag if it's like Chanel or Dior, but for Jimmy Choo bag, I don't think the brand is there yet. I don't think that most of us will pay that much for a Jimmy Choo bag. But you know, correct me if I'm wrong, like what's your take on this? But I really do not think that Jimmy Choo is in that bracket as of now. We'll see what will happen in the next years. So I went in there with a specific intent, which is never a good idea in an outlet, because what are the chances that you're going to find the exact item you're looking for, right? I mean, this is not really a big chance of this happening, but you know, I was there, so why not go and ask? So my favorite Jimmy Choo wedges, Dakota wedges, I have them in blush pink, and I really want them in white, like off-white as well. And because they are a few years old now, they're like previous seasons, there actually was a chance that they might have it in an outlet, but sadly, that didn't happen. They didn't have anything even similar to that. They had some of the newer models that I don't like as much. I'm gonna hold this like this now so you can see my outfit better. So I have pink and burgundy outfit today. This trousers and this is like crop top combination, but because it's quite revealing, I have the shirt blouse over it, because otherwise it's a bit too much for day look. But I would wear, you know, the combo separately in the evening, and I paired it with rose gold jewelry and just earrings which are misoma with red stones as well. And because today is not extremely hot, we're gonna pair it with this Jimmy Choo Bordeaux Mules. They had another item that looked kind of like classic but really wasn't, so it was similar to that pair. If you remember, this model came out, I'm trying to think, I think it came either in the same season as Bing sandals, you know, their most famous shoe, or they came maybe a year before or after, but it was around that time when they created Bing, they came out with this one as well, and it's in suede. and I found similar style here in the outlet. Now, it's not exactly the same, but you know, it's definitely from that collection, let's say. And the prices were, well, Jimmy Choo, I will say it's only worth going in there if you are planning to buy more than one item, because they had this tiered promo going on that if you buy 2 items you get a more discount, and if you buy 3 you get even more. I think it was 20 and 25. So if you're planning to buy more than one item in Jimmy Choo, then this is worth it, because otherwise most of the things were like 10-20% off. The only thing that was like more heavily discounted again were the things that I don't think many people would want to buy in the first place. Now, I had a fun with Bonbon bag, which I actually do love a lot, but but not for that price. Now, I found something similar on AliExpress. I'm gonna link this video up here if you haven't seen it. This is of course not the exact same bag. This is not a replica. It's just inspired by Jimmy Choo bonbons. It's not as heavy. It doesn't have silk underlining, and it doesn't have any logos, and the chain is much thinner than the original. Also, like the strap on the bag, like this circle, the golden circle you see here, it's very different from Jimmy Choo's, but the style is the same, is that kind of like bonbon little thing. So because the AliExpress one was like, I don't know, under 100, and this one is over 2000, I don't think it's, you have to think long which one you're gonna take if you want to shop on the budget. I did consider buying this satin one actually, because this one was a very good price. It was around 700, but the problem was that I really do not want another hot pink bag, because I already have pinko one that I really like and use a lot, and I don't need another. So if they would have this satin bag in any other color, I would probably take it, but in hot pink, sadly, no. But if you're on the hunt for one, now you know where you can find it. Well, how did you end up in my editing room? I have no idea, but since you are already here, welcome. My name is Veronica. I have been a TV presenter for over 20 years, and I love a lot of things about style and fashion, how to combine different colors, and of course, how to make that perfect outfit that's going to really pop your personality and your character wherever you go. If this is something that sounds interesting to you, well, consider sticking around. Now let's go back to Venice outlet. My last stop was Bottega Veneta. Now this was the rope situation. So when I arrived, there was one person in there and 2 sales associates and a guy at the door that kind of opens and closes the rope and everything. And it was marked entry exit, so it was obvious you have to wait. And even though the boutique was not really big, it was still not like little room. It was big enough to, you know, for more than one person inside. But they actually waited a few minutes and then they let me in. And a very sweet lady. I mean, she was so nice. She really understood, because I had like specific wishes. I was looking for a green cassette with a golden chain, because now this bag is quite a few years old. Again, I had my hopes up that maybe it will be in an outlet, but no, they did have cassettes. I'm going to show you this one. This is from suede, which I don't really like because it's very hard to maintain. I love the look of it, but suede shoes are a pain in the ass enough. I mean, I don't even want to think about suede bag. I have one and I am so careful and afraid of wearing it because it's suede, and if it gets even a little bit of rain on it or some dirt from like I don't know, a chair in a restaurant or something, anything that happens to it, it's ruined. It's really hard to maintain. It was never my intention to get a suede bag, but they looked amazing. The price was, I think, slightly below 2000. I think it was 1700 or something like that, but for this one I actually forgot to check, but in my head I think it was slightly below 2000. And this is one of the things where, again, I mean, correct me if you know better, because for this I'm really not sure, but I think that this might actually be an outlet bag, because you can see here on the website you have this suede cassette, and this is mini size, so you know they looked exactly the same. The leather is what we are used to Bottega's leather to be, so I wouldn't say it's like lesser quality, even if it is made for the outlet bag. I just couldn't find these colors anywhere, like green and white combinations. So I don't know if it's just like for specific boutiques and then it came to outlet, or it is actually made for outlets. So if you know anything about this, please let us know in the comments, because I think we would all like to know. But I can assure you that the quality of this bag, from what I touched, from what I've seen from the other ones from the boutique, is exactly the same. So maybe it's just like different colors. They had this other one that was really big discount. You can see it here. it was over 2,000. Now it was slightly below 700. The thing is, I just don't like this design. I really didn't like this bag, but they had it in many colors. And if this is something that you would like, now is a really good chance to go and get it because the price is quite low. Now, Bottega didn't have any additional discounts on top of the existing ones, so the price you see is the price you pay. I think they had like a few items in the corner marked special price, which I don't know if this is the same as in Gucci, when they have like current stock from the boutique, but it's like 10% off or something like that. The store felt quite empty, so I think that's the only reason why I think it might actually be real stock from the boutique, because if you have made for outlet things, I would assume you would have more items, right? More crowded store. But that's just like my logic. What is your take on this? Because from what I've seen, it's usually when it's like outlet made, it's quite a lot of stock. You can see that it's quite full, the store. So that's kind of like my observation so far. But you know, things change all the time. So if you know anything about this, please do let us know. What actually happened with the parking lot? Now, this designer outlet has many stores, from Adidas to Guess to any other high street brands, and then you have like this smaller part of the designer outlet where you have mostly higher brands like Gucci, Versace, and so on. So these stores were practically empty. I mean, the only store that had like more than 1 or 2 person in there was Jimmy Choo, and the only reason for that was because there was one very sweet lady who was buying wedding shoes, and she had an entourage of like 6 other women with her, so that made the store slightly crowded, but it was actually one person buying something, so it wasn't like a lot of people. So all the craziness at the parking lot is other stores, like high street stores. Inside it was really not that crowded. I mean, we saw some people, but it wasn't like empty. But when you looked at the parking space, you would assume it's going to be like this, that you couldn't be able to move anywhere. But most of the people did venture to high street brands. I went to Elisabetta Franchi, which I love that store. I'm obsessed with it. I already have like 10 items on my wish list for summer sales to get. So this is definitely my new obsession this year. And the store was empty. I was the only one in there. And while they had really good stock, I saw a lot of items on that I wanted from the webpage, but they didn't have sizes. So I found these shoes for like 150 euros, and even on sale now on the webpage are 260. So you see, outlet is definitely better price, but they didn't have my size, sadly. So Elisabetta Franchi, absolutely go and see it because it's worth it. Hopefully they're gonna have your size. Pinko, well, they had like some bags, but I wouldn't say great selection. And this is my 3rd Pinko outlet visit, and none of them really came to anything. I didn't find anything I liked. I didn't find the things that I like to be a good price. So I think Pinko for me would be like outlet, really no point, unless you're just like browsing and maybe you happen to find a cute top or something. So when is the best time to actually go to designer outlet? Definitely during the week, during the day, if it's possible, because in the morning, the first time they open, you're gonna have people that are just traveling through and it's gonna be their first stop. And then after, let's say 2-3 p.m., there's gonna be people who are living nearby or are again passing through, and they're gonna stop here. Like I would say like 11:30, maybe midday is the best time. They actually have restaurants in there as well, so you can definitely get some food there as well. If you're planning to do like a day's visit, to just drive there intentionally, you can definitely spend there all day. It's quite a big outlet with a lot of stores. You can also get like a fashion passport, which will get you additional discounts if you plan to do more than one store shopping. And pay attention to their website, I'm gonna link it below, because they actually tell you when they have special additional promotions going on with even more discounts, so you can plan your visit better to know exactly when to actually travel there for the best deals that you can possibly get. If you go to designer outlets, let me know what's your take on them. Are you enjoy shopping there? And of course, did you find any great items there? Because with me, it's kind of like hit and miss. I mean, in Vienna, it was quite a good haul last year. I got quite a few items. Now in Venice, not so much. I actually left empty-handed, which was not my intention at all. But like I said, the things I saw were either not, I didn't like the price, or they didn't have my size, or I just didn't like the stock, what they had. But this is my point exactly, that with this designer outlets, even if you don't find anything today, you're gonna find something next week. it's not like, oh, it's not worth going because you don't find anything, because stock changes pretty quickly. And you know, the thing is, now they have summer sales going on online, and some of the items will end up probably in outlet as well at the end. If you want to try something on and you just don't want to order online, now is the best time to actually go and visit designer outlets. So have a great summer, you guys. Tell me your thoughts, and of course have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video.